तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्।
Well, good afternoon. Thank you for being here. On behalf of the Master and the Banker families, welcome to the celebration of life of Kokila or Kshama Banker. My name is Brady Friesen, and I'll be the MC for this event. My wife, Tejal, is Kshama's granddaughter. I would like to welcome Hindu priest Venkatesh Machi Raju to the podium to explain the funeral rites and offer a prayer.
The whole name? Kokila Banker. Namaste. Do a small prayer. Thank you so much. We will do a Gayatri Mantra. The Gayatri Mantra is a most important chant of Hinduism. It speaks about all the three layers everywhere, the body, mind, and the soul, all to be uplifted by the light of the goddess Savitri. Let's pray to Gayatri. Om Bhurvasvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. We will chant a Mrutyunjaya mantra. This mantra is to uplift the soul to enlightenment and conquer the death. ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनात् मृच्छोर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनात् मृच्छोर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनात् मृच्छोर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्. Thank you for chanting along with me. A lot of people know this mantra very good. So I'm going to briefly say a few words about our funeral traditions that are established long back with a lot of logical meaning to them. And first of all, we want to say that Kokilaji had a long life. So we believe that 84 years is a good number to achieve first in the first place. Then of course 100, and then of course 120 years. There's a complete cycle of life. But once you live 84 years, it's called Sahasra Chandra Darshanam. So that is considered to be very auspicious because by that time we will have witnessed 1000 full moons. So we have a special celebration when the person reaches 84 because they have seen 1000 full moons. And for Hindus, a full moon indicates our mental development, and therefore, seeing 1000 full moons indicates a complete maturity one will achieve by living so long, by experiencing so many things in life. Therefore, she had a full life, so she should be a punyatma, a noble soul, an auspicious soul to have such a long life to all the family and extended family, like grandchildren, great grandchildren, and so on. So she had a good life, and therefore we all have the family has always has to clear the debts to the parents by doing the final rites. The final rites were called in Vedic scriptures as Antyeshti, the final desire of the soul. Soul has its final desire and to be uplifted to the next world. It's called Pitraloka. So we have all these worlds described in our day-to-day Gayatri Mantra. When we chant the Gayatri Mantra, we say Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha. In fact, these three ahrutis they're called, they actually describe three worlds itself: the physical world, the energy world, and the world of light. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha. But then we sometimes chant the longer Gayatri Mantra, which is Om Bhuhu Om Bhuvaha, Om Suvaha, Om Mahaha, Om Janaha, Om Tapaha, Om Satyam. When we chant this longer Gayatri Mantra, we have seven planes, seven dimensions. All this first line is not part of Gayatri Mantra, but it starts from Tat Savitur Varenyam. So we invoke the God in these seven dimensions, or a shorter version, we invoke the God in Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha. So we believe the Bhuva, Om Bhur is this physical world, Bhuvaha is where we think the souls will ascend, which is also called the Pitraloka. So our responsibility is to the family's children's responsibility is to make the soul ascend to the Pitraloka and establish them there with a new life. Just because the parents give us a new life in this world and make us experience this world and understand the love of God by taking a human birth, we have a responsibility to similarly give them a chance to have a next life, a higher life in a higher world, which is called the Pitraloka. For that reason, the children will perform the Antyeshti ceremony. The Antyeshti ceremony is called by two words, which is called Pitrumedham or Naramedham. When you call it Naramedham, it is a yajna where the body itself is offered into the yajna. So, because the soul cannot perform this yajna on its own, because it's out of the body at this point, soul takes the help of the kids to perform this yajna. So, we in Hinduism do yajnas at every point. Yajna is nothing but a fire ritual for Hindus because fire is the biggest god in Hinduism. The reason for that is it's a god of every change you experience in this world. When you eat your food, that is digested by the acid fire. When you work, metabolic forces in the body, not a doctor, but there's some sort of metabolism by which your cells are converted into energy where we can put effort. So continuously there is fire principle in the body, outside in the form of sunlight also. It is constantly changing from one thing to the other thing. In this way, fire is always changing things from one thing to other thing. Therefore, to experience any change, you need to do a sacrifice. Give up one thing to get a new thing. So fire is a god of sacrifice, which is nothing but change. Change brings time. Time brings us experience of life itself. Therefore, fire is a god of change, time, life, sacrifice, and growth and evolution into the future higher life. So here the soul has to give up this world, give up this life, and move to a higher life. And that is achieved by this cremation fire, which is a yajna. In the yajna, she is performing by offering her own body. But because she cannot perform this yajna as she is out of the body at this moment, she performs with the help of the kids. Even though kids are performing it, we assume that she is performing this yajna. The reason for that is we believe that before we leave this world, we always throw branches like a banyan tree, which throws many roots and which become new trees. Still, they're part of the original tree. They're still connected, but she always, the new life, new tree comes up from one tree. So, similarly, all the kids are considered to be her own extension. She's living in the kids, grandkids, great grandkids, and so on and so forth forever. As long as she's having this children's progeny going on, she's living in them, and also our cells are coming from millions and millions of years from the past, because those DNA cells are continuously replicating and reproducing. In this way, she is living forever in the physical form also. Even though the soul is immortal, the body also becomes immortal in a way when we have kids. This is described in the Brahma Sukta. We become immortal when we have kids because we live through them in them. So the kids are performing this yajna for her, and that is what this is called Naramedham. And it's called Pitrumedham because a parent's body is offered in the yajna. We offer the body of a parent in the fire, therefore, it's also called a Pitrumedha. So when we offer the body into the fire, what we believe is the soul has attachment to this world and the family, and the connection is the body. So as long as the body is there, we believe the soul has a tendency to attract to the family. So by dissolving the body, the soul gets detached from the whole situation and evolves to the higher world. So we dissolve the body. So the five elements of the body are merged back into the nature. The nature has five elements according to Hinduism: the solids, the earth, the liquids, the water, the fire, of course, in the form of heat in the body, the space, and the air is there in the form of prana shakti. All our life energies is called air, and the space is there in the body in the form of memory, intellect, and thinking power, love, and all that. So all these things are there in the body. Space as your memory, intellect, thinking, thought, and everything, and air as the moving breath as life energy, and fire as the heat in the body, and water as the liquid content, and earth as the solid content. So as soon as a person dies, already heat disappears from the body, it dissolves back into the nature, and the air also dissolves back. The pranas also, the pancha pranas also are simply diffused back into the nature, and Memory, intellect, and everything are absorbed back into the soul. Now left is water and the solid material. These are also dissolved in the form in the process of cremation. So that is what the family is trying to achieve, and that way the soul is now slowly detached, and with this detachment, the soul will ascend to the next world. Of course, there are some more other ritual people perform to make the soul ascend to the higher worlds, but in general, advanced divine souls don't need any help of the family to ascend if they're very spiritual. But as our responsibility to our parents is always there, as a way of thankfulness, sometimes we do the ritual, but sometimes very spiritual souls simply ascend to the next world without any help. But we as a family will try to always do our part so that we express our thankfulness. So this is about our cremation ritual. It's considered to be very sacred for a person who has lived and served us in the form of a parent and elder. Therefore, we pray for them with the help of family. So I'll perform the ritual at the end of this service. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much.
Thank you. At this time, Dhruv Master and Badresh Bhatt will sing some bhajans.
जय श्री कृष्ण। बोलो राम बोलो राम बोलो राम राम राम
बोलो राम बोलो राम बोलो राम राम राम
श्री राम श्री राम श्री राम राम राम
श्री राम श्री राम श्री राम राम राम
जय जय राम जय जय राम जय जय राम राम राम
जय जय राम जय जय राम जय जय राम राम
जय राम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम जय राम जय जय राम
जय राम जय राम जय जय राम 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 जय जय राम
पतित पावन नाम भजले राम राम राम
पतित पावन नाम भजले राम राम राम
भजले राम 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 भजले राम राम राम
भजले राम 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 भजले राम राम राम
अशरण शरण शांति के धाम मुझे भरोसा तेरा राम
अशरण शरण शांति के धाम मुझे भरोसा तेरा राम
मुझे भरोसा तेरा राम मुझे भरोसा तेरा राम
मुझे भरोसा तेरा राम मुझे भरोसा तेरा राम
रामाय नमः श्री रामाय नमः
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 अहं भजामि रामं सत्यं शिवं मङ्गलम्
अहं भजामि रामं सत्यं शिवं मङ्गलम्
सत्यं शिवं मङ्गलं सत्यं शिवं मङ्गलम्
सत्यं शिवं मङ्गलं सत्यं शिवं मङ्गलम्
जय श्री कृष्ण.
This was one of the very favorite bhajan for my sister and brother-in-law both. मंगल मंदिर खोलो दयामय मंगल मंदिर खोलो 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 जीवन वन अति वेगे वटाव्यू 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 द्वार उभो शिशु बोलो दयामय मंगल मंदिर खोलो द्वार उभो शिशु बोलो दयामय मंगल मंदिर खोलो तिमिर गयुने ज्योति प्रकाशो तिमिर गयुने ज्योति प्रकाशो तिमिर गयुने ज्योति प्रकाशो तिमिर गयुने ज्योति प्रकाशो शिशु ने उर्मा ल्यो ल्यो दयामय मंगल मंदिर खोलो मंगल मंदिर खोलो दयामय मंगल मंदिर खोलो नाम मधुरतम रट्यो निरंतर नाम मधुरतम रट्यो निरंतर नाम मधुरतम रट्यो निरंतर नाम मधुरतम रट्यो निरंतर शिशु सह प्रेमे बोलो दयामय मंगल मंदिर खोलो मंगल मंदिर खोलो दयामय मंगल मंदिर दिव्य तृषातुर આવ્યો બાળક દિવ્ય તૃષા તૃષાતુર આવ્યો માળકો દિવ્ય તૃષાતુર આવ્યો બાળક દિવ્ય તૃષાતુર આવ્યો બાળક પ્રેમ અમીરસ ડોળો દયામય મંગલ મંદિર ખોલો મંગલ મંદિર ખોલો દયામય મંગલ મંદિર ખોલો મંગલ મંદિર ખોલો દયામય મંગલ મંદિર ખોલો મંદિર ખોલો દયામય મંગલ મંદિર ખોલો. Since she was married into the Vaishnava family, this is one of the Vaishnava bhajan suitable for this time. So I would like to sing for her as if she is saying to Almighty God, that is her request to Him or Almighty. हारे वाला अर्जी अमारी सुनो श्रीनाथ जी लई जाजे तारा धाम मां हारे वाला अर्जी अमारी सुनो श्रीनाथ जी लई जाजे तारा धाम हारे वाला अर्जी अमारी सुनो श्रीनाथ जी लई जाजे तारा धाम मां हारे वाला अर्जी हमारी सुनो श्रीनाथ जी लई जाजे तारा धाम हारे मारा अंत समयना बेली हारे मारा अंत समयना बेली हारे हवे मेलो नहीं हड़सेली हारे हवे मेलो नहीं हड़सेली हारे हूँ तो आवी उभी तम द्वारे श्रीनाथ जी लई जाजे तारा धाम मां हारे वाला अर्जी अमारी सुनो श्रीनाथ जी लई जाजे तारा धाम मां हारे नाथ करुणा तणाचो सिंधु हारे नाथ करुणा तणाचो सिंधु हारे हूँ तो याचू छू एक ज बिंदु हारे हूँ तो याचू छू एक ज बिंदु हारे एक बिंदु मां नहीं थाय ओछू श्रीनाथ जी लई जाजे तारा धाम मां हारे वाला अर्जी अमारी सुनो श्रीनाथ जी लई जाजे तारा हारे मारू अंतर ले जो वाची हारे मारू अंतर ले जो वाची हारे नथी मेहंदी मालाली लखाती हारे नथी मेहंदी मालाली लखाती हारे पाने पाने ए प्रसरी जाती श्रीनाथ जी लई जाजे तारा धाम मां हारे वाला अर्जी अमारी सुनो श्रीनाथ जी लई जाजे तारा धाम हारे तने समझू ने शू समझाऊं हारे तने समझू ने शू समझाऊं हारे के तो अंतर खोली बताऊं हारे के तो अंतर खोली बताऊं हारे तारा भक्तों ने एक ज आश श्रीनाथ जी लई जाजे तारा धाम मां आरे वाला अर्जी अमारी सुनो श्रीनाथ जी लई जाजे तारा धाम मां लई जाजे तारा धाम मां लई जाजे तारा At the end, we always have that Anjali Git. But there is way if you can come and join me. Uh, છલ્લા ગાવું છે હમણાં નથી ગાવું ઓકે તો પછી ગાઈશું છલ્લા ઓકે
Thank you. This time, I'd like to welcome all of Kokila's grandchildren to the front who are present. And Janesh Shah and Spencer Christensen will offer some words and some memories of their Ba on behalf of the grandchildren.
Ba was diligent and determined, and sometimes even a bit stubborn, if you can believe it. She taught all of us grandchildren important lessons. One such lesson was that we needed to live well even when life was full of struggles. She taught this largely by telling us her life story, and she made sure we remembered it over the years by retelling that story many, many times. We all know the story and all its variations by heart now. There were two lessons, though, that she taught through that story, whether or not she knew it. First, by hearing about the struggles she went through over the years, I realized how much responsibility someone could be forced to take on in life. I became grateful that I was blessed by such great family, including her, that I didn't have to have so much responsibility all at once. At the same time, her stories were part of the things that spurred me on to take on more responsibility over the years so that I could be ready for new challenges that would require me to take even more responsibility. Growing up, each of us knew that Ba loved us. Jody and Tejal were blessed by being massaged as babies by Ba, and Ba taught our dad, which allowed him to massage me when I was a baby. Ba also gave us love by letting us always show up as we were to her place. We could show up late to supper and grumpy, from a tough day at university, or wearing sweats and feeling sad, or excited about new things we wanted to share. Jody remembers being able to talk with Ba while curled up on Ba's bed, years after having had sleepovers with Ba on the floor in Stonewall. I remember that I would always ask Ba when I was younger if we would be having ras with supper. But even if we weren't, I always looked forward to supper at Ba's. She made amazing food. At those suppers, and really any time we had the chance, we always had fun teasing Ba and making her laugh. And though getting that chuckle from her wasn't usually all that hard, we always looked forward to hearing it. As the years went on, she taught us how to make some of those amazing dishes. And we now have her recipes written down and typed up, which will be well used and always cherished. We also remember how Ba would very consistently get in her walks, and sometimes we would join her when she was taking care of us. When she was recovering from cancer, my sister and I would walk with her up and down the sidewalk. Would walk with her up and down the sidewalk. And it felt special as a kid to think we were helping her recover, even though she was taking care of us still. It was more significant, though, as we got older, and so did she. She slowly couldn't walk as much, or at all without a walker. When she lived with my parents, we had the privilege and responsibility of going on those walks with her again. But this time it wasn't because she was taking care of us, nor was it a mix of caring for each other like when she had cancer. We got to take care of her. Able to take that chance to return the care that she had for us for so long. Ba would always chuckle when I said it was my pleasure to help her go for a walk. So I don't know if she knew how much we all actually loved being able to help her, to simply spend that time with her. My roommate said that he felt like Ba was a person who deserved to be respected, not in the sense that she commanded respect by her presence, but rather that you knew she had done enough to earn it. Her persistence in living well and her love for her family certainly convinced her grandchildren, and we will miss her dearly. We pray that you are resting in peace, Ba.
I don't know if I'll be able to keep myself together like Spencer did, but I'll try. Anyone that has known Ba will know that she was an incredibly strong, independent, determined woman. Her life story could be mistaken as a novel with everything she experienced and all the ups and downs her life had. Whenever Ba would sit me down and tell me about her life, she would always teach me the importance of being able to adapt. Life is not predictable, she would tell me, and everything can change in an instant, much like what happened in her life many times. You have to learn to live and be content with what you have. She was the ultimate example of this. Never once in my entire life saw her complain. She tackled life head on and refused to make excuses for the hand she was dealt. It's something that I truly admired and tried to emulate myself. Personally, what I remember most about Ba was the duality that she embodied. She had such incredible strength and resilience in spite of everything she had gone through in her life. After Dada and Kashyap Mama had passed, she still lived on her own for a long time, cooking for herself, all while in her 80s. Yet with this strength and resilience, she also had this tenderness about her that was so warm and inviting. She showered her family, specifically her grandchildren, with endless love and care, instilling in us life values along the way, simply by living her life the only way she knew how, on her own terms. She impacted the lives of so many in such a positive way. My older brother, Palakbhai, told me he remembers when he visited Jody, our cousin in Ottawa, a few years back. They both FaceTimed Ba and learned how to make mutia and guarni dhokri. Without knowing it, through her recipe and guidance, she helped two cousins really bond over dinner, which is something Palakbhai says he will never forget. My oldest brother, Jay told me he remembers moving to America from India for the first time and not knowing anything about Western culture and the school system here. At that time, he told me, Ba always took the time to help both of my brothers adjust and served as their support system as they got accustomed to their life here. Fast forward a few decades, and Jay was married to Purvi Bhabi with two kids, Pranay and Priya, both of whom grew extremely close to their Motaba, as they lovingly called her. Anytime she visited Chicago in the last few years, Jay remembers helping Ba go up the stairs, and she would always chuckle and say, you know, when you were a kid, I would always help you do these kinds of things, and now you're helping me. Caring for Ba when she visited is a privilege Jay says he will always cherish. Another quality Ba had was that she met others with open arms and an open heart. Whether it be meeting one of my friends for the first time or welcoming someone new into our family. In Purvi Bhabhi's words, Ba was so accepting of me from the very beginning and never made me feel like an outsider. Her will to always help and do things on her own inspired me. Ba inspired so many of us with her self reliance. Even in her last years, when her health was deteriorating, she still insisted on living with relatively minimal help. When I think about it, it's kind of funny. She was so adamant on living independently and at her own accord that when she was no longer able to do so, she decided it was time to go. If that isn't the ultimate indication of her strong willed, proud nature, I'm not sure what is. But as they say, someone is not gone until they stop living in the memories and hearts of others. And with that, Ba lives on in each and every one of us. She lived a very full life filled with family that loved her beyond measure. I'd like to end by saying I'm sure that Ba is finally with Dada again, somewhere out there, looking down on us, continuing to bless us as she always has. Ba, we all love you so much, and you will be missed dearly.
And now, Singita Christensen and Monica Shah, Kshama's daughters, will now share the eulogy.
I am Monica Shah, the older daughter of
Yeah.
Kokila and Shashikant Banker.
And I'm Sangeeta Christensen, youngest daughter.
We are here today to celebrate the life of Kokila Banker. Loving wife, mother, grandmother, great grandmother, sister, and friend. Kokila passed away on December 21st, 2022, at the age of 91. She was born on December 18th, 1931, as Kshama Vidyanand Master in Randir, Surat, India, to loving parents. Vidyanand and Sharda Master. She was married to Shashikant Banker and had 4 children: Suraj, Monica, Kashyap, and Sangeeta. Kokila is predeceased by her husband Shashikant, her sons Suraj and Kashyap, and her brother Pankaj Master. She is survived by both her daughters, Monica and Sangeeta, and her son-in-laws, Jitendra and Mark. She is also survived by her grandchildren, Jay and Purvi, Palak, Tejal and Brady, Jody, Jinesh, and Spencer. Great grandchildren, Pranay, Priya, and Bennett, and her brother, Dhruv Master, and sister in law, Asha Master and Meena Master.
I'm going to say mummy because she's my mummy. So but you'll know. Anyway, she was raised in a loving family in Surat, Gujarat. Her family was quite affluent and she had a comfortable childhood. As a child, she was very obedient, following the cultural expectations at that time. She had to grow up rather quickly at the age of 17 at the passing suddenly of her father. She had to take on the role of being a helping parent to her mother with the brothers, as her younger brother was, one brother was 5 years younger and the other one was 11 years younger than her. She also had to do that because her mother had asthma, and so she was ill quite a lot. So as Monica said, she got married to Shashikant Banker on February 20th, 1952, at which point she moved to Bombay and began her married life. In 1954, she and my dad, Papa, had a, sorry, lost my
Started.
spelling. They started their family by having their first son, Suraj. Sorry, I'm losing my thought. Less than a month later, unfortunately, Suraj Bhai passed away. Shortly thereafter, Shashikant and Kokila, my mom and dad, of course, again, had the opportunity to go to London, England for a few years, where Monica was born. Kashyap arrived 3 years after that, and I followed about a year and a half later. Kokila continued to adhere to the cultural expectations, was very traditional of being a wife, and rarely worked outside the home. She was a full-time wife, homemaker, and mother.
In 1969, the whole family immigrated to Canada. We were one of the first 5 to 10 East Indian families in Winnipeg at that time. As new families to this country, we struggled, as did other immigrants. After 3 years of trying to make it work in Winnipeg, um, it wasn't easy, but things were not working as we had expected. So we decided that the three kids, myself, Kashyap, and Sangeeta, with Mummy, would move back to India. Our father stayed back to give it one more try. And then a year later, we did return to Canada, and they spent their whole life in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Life in Canada for our parents was challenging, and they showed their strength through it all. Their example have made us stronger. Seeing their struggles helped us children learn things like sacrificing, understanding, and the value of family relationships. With their experience, they were even able to help many other new immigrants to Winnipeg, particularly Gujarati.
Mummy was an expert in the kitchen because she had always stayed home, and that was her kind of job in that sense. She knew how to make many dishes and hosted many dinner parties and had many guests over at our house. We initiated many Indian pujas because we were one of the first few families in Winnipeg in Fort Rouge.
Mummy was a natural caregiver. She looked after her own mother with her brothers. When her first grandson Jay was born here in Winnipeg, she spent many hours helping Monica raise the first child. Then when her first granddaughter was born, which is my daughter Tejal, Kokila enjoyed transferring her Gujarati knowledge of oil massage and other traditions to her white son-in-law, Mark.
As life continued, Mummy and Papa faced many experiences and challenges. Their courage was shown through as they faced this heavy responsibilities. At the same time, there were many happy times and much joy. Mummy enjoyed their full family life for many years, raising children, helping her mother, and keeping relationships and the wheels of life moving.
In 2004, she was diagnosed with and overcame cancer. In 2005, our father's health took a serious turn for the worst, ending with his passing 5 years later in 2010. Throughout that time, my mom cared intentionally and faithfully for my dad, managing to visit him in the nursing home every single day, even though she didn't drive. She faced one of her hardest times, though, in 2014 with the discovery of our brother's leukemia. He struggled for 3 years, finally passing away in 2017. Kokila took diligent and loving care of our brother Kashyap during this entire journey with leukemia. His loss devastated her world, and there was noticeable decline in her health after he passed. This was the loss of her second son. Can't even imagine one, I got two. Uh, Through these losses she maintained her Hindu faith. It held her strong.
In the fall of 2020, Mummy moved in with Sangeeta and Mark and the family. COVID was one of the reasons for this move, along, along with her failing health and so mobility limitations. She also spent the winters at my place and in Chicago with her grandson. And those were some very memorable moments with her that we had.
So we'd like to now just share one memory, which is kind of hard to narrow down which memory of our mom was sort of most significant in our own lives. Do you want to go first or shall I?
No, you go ahead.
So, as a child, my mom had the Hindu faith, and she had a little prayer station in our home, in our home now, and in our home family home. And so she would pray every day, sit there and do her incense and that kind of stuff. And I was at one point, I was obviously a young girl, and at age 12, I clearly remember asking my mom that, can I say prayers to God? And she said, of course. And I said, can I say them in English? Does God understand English? And she said, yes, God understands any language. And that's always been a really great memory for me, because it was for me the seed that was planted for my faith, which has now grown into a Christian faith, but it's still a faith, and faith is faith. So that's something that's always I've treasured. That little question opened the door for me to talk to God. So that was super special for me.
So, mommy, in those days, everybody had a hard life. When you got married, you had to make a lot of compromises and sacrifices, and you had to live the way your husband's family lived. You had no options. And seeing her doing all these things, I think, led me, and I've married an Indian husband. Things were not, of course, the way they were with my mother, but seeing her adapt and change her way of doing things, and um, just accepting what was there gave me the courage and strength to do that with my family. And that is something that I will always admire about my mommy, and that she shared that with me in a very special way. Yeah. Mommy was a very loving and giving person. She was very simple in her ways, content with her circumstances. She was a very traditional person and passed her traditions on to her children and grandchildren.
So, in conclusion, we have a little bit of an unusual ending. So, Jody, or my middle daughter, um, is an actor, and so she's often filming and taping and all that kind of stuff. So, at one point a few years ago, she was setting up a new microphone, and the only person home was my mom. So she needed to test it. So she got my mom's help, and we have a little recording. So, in my mom's own words, you will hear a little bit of a synopsis of what she recorded with Jody.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of testing kind of
Should
stuff.
be
in the
working
beginning.
now.
You can record
Hello?
something.
Hello? 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 Okay. Ba,
I don't know. You can just
you can tell the story of growing up
growing up.
in India.
Well, what can I say? Do you think it will record? Hello?
Yeah.
I can come closer.
Yeah. It'll pick it up even from there.
Okay. I was born in India and I grew up there. My dad was the railway inspector. I had a big bungalow when I was young, and I didn't realize in a life that what's going to happen. But later on in my life, when I got grown up, I got married. I was staying in Bombay, and then I went to London, England, and I struggled in my life, and I achieved something. So I appreciate that God give me a good strength and good health, so I can manage myself Then I got married and I have 3 kids, 4 kids, 2 sons, 2 daughters. And I'm staying with my daughter, youngest one, and she have a 2 daughters and a son, and we are enjoying everybody.
Ba's life in a nutshell.
At this time, if you would like, you are welcome to pay your respects and place rose petals in the casket. The final cremation rites will be performed with the family. But on behalf of the whole family, we thank you so much for coming, sharing in this day with us, and yeah, go in peace. So if you like, please come. And the family will also be at the front if you want to come and say a few words.
भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्।
This puja, how long will it take? Because the baby will just want to do that.
15 items.
And then you would take her in now.
I don't. They will take. They will take her in.
Yeah, but yeah, different men. Okay. I just wanted to know.
You're doing it, right? Yeah. I took off my shoes. So I'll take off my shoes. Om Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum Sasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये एवं गुणा विशेषणा विशिष्टायां सुभतिधौ श्रीमान. Name sir. Jay Namadheyasya last name. Shagotrasya. Then her name. Kuklabe Namadheyavati Antyeshti Karma Karishe. Offer the flowers and everything on her heart. So you're doing a final rites for her to make her ascend to the higher worlds. Take some flower petals again to pray to the gods to bless this situation, this ritual, and bless this ritual, and then make her achieve what she wants to achieve. Shantakaram Bhujagasayanam Padmanabham Suresham Viswadharam Gagana Sadhrisam Meghavarnam Subhangam Lakshmikantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Vijjanagam Yam Vande Vishnum Bhava Bhayaharam Sarva Lokaikanadam. Offer the flowers. So, as we're going to offer the body into the fire, we're going to sanctify and spiritualize, infuse spiritual vibration. So, take that water and the flower petal, the flower we have there, the stalk, yeah, sprinkle on her as if you're giving her a bath. Koklabhe namadheyavati mritistane shavanimitta snanam, sprinkle snanam maya dhete tavopatishtitam. Koklaben Pradasmritisana Shavanimitta Gandham Maya Dhiyate Tavopatishtitam. Yeah, put on her forehead, right? Then rest of it sprinkle on her. The body is represented by the chandan, which is gives good smell of good love and actions towards the family. And so slowly it evaporates the smell, good smell like that. With the time, people also dissolve, but their actions and love will smell, stay together, stay with us. So sprinkle all the chandan on her. You can use the whole bottle itself. Let's do flowers. Okay. Flowers indicate her love towards all the family. She has done it every day in, day out, all these years. So you remember all that. Thanking her, you offer the flowers. Okay. Kokilaben Pratasya Mritistana Shavanimitta Pushpam Maya Dhete Tavopatishta. Put the flower on her. Okay, good. Now there is a lamp there, a battery one. We have one. Now you can use that again. We have another one here. So this one is moving, and we are going to go around and we will go. So we are going to tell her that the separation of death can cause some sorrow and pain for her as well, because she left all the family and all the family left in a way because she can't see them. So she is sad. So to remove that sadness of darkness, we are showing the light of love. So that we are telling her, we're loving you, therefore that lights up her path so that she can travel on the dark path with the lights, what we are lighting right now. Yamadware Mahaghore Andhena Tamasavrute Tatravalokanaardhaya Deepo Yamopatishtitam Kuklaben Pratasya Mritistane Shavanimitta Deepam Maya Diyate Tavopatishtitam. Put it back once it's done. So usually this five rice balls, right? We offer one at a time. Every time I say offer one, you offer. Don't offer one at a time. Right? So one at a time. Along with that, there's a little bit of black seeds. So we're going to offer five rice balls as a symbol of her body, five elements. So in India, they carry the body on their shoulders because she carried the kids on her shoulders. So they carry not in the even though they have all the power to take them in the bus and everything, still they carry on their shoulders. They carry on the shoulders to remember and thank them that they carried the kids. So they carry that and they stop five times to indicate at five places they stopping. Five elements are slowly dissolving at each step. Earth is dissolving, water is dissolving, fire dissolving, air dissolving, space dissolving. They stop five times. So for five times they put five rice balls. Every time they put, they break it and throw in all the four directions, saying that our body is merging back in the nature. So now we'll do the first one. Kokilaben Pritasya Mritisani Shavanimitta Pindo Mayadhete, put in that corner because we can't throw it here in Canada. Put it there, yeah. Or put it in that corner, doesn't matter. Yeah. Next one, you put in that place. Take another one similarly. Yes, please. कोकिलाबेन प्रेतस्य अमृतस्थाने अमृतस्थ प्रेतस्य द्वारदेशे पान्धनिमित्ते शितपिण्डं मया धीते तव प्रतिष्ठितं. Put it there, yes, please. Now in these two places. कोकिलाबेन प्रेतस्य चत्वारे खेचरनिमित्ते शितपिण्डं मया धीते तव प्रतिष्ठितं. Now put the fourth one. कोकिलाबेन प्रेतस्य विश्वान्तौ भूतनाम्ना निमित्त एषते पिंड मया धीते तव प्रतिष्ठितम. Now we put in the four corners. In reality, they are actually being distributed in the four directions on the pathway to the funeral home. The last one is left in her hand, indicating that her good karmas, good action that she has done to the world and the family and the friends will stay back with her. And therefore, that last one will be near her right hand, saying that good actions always come with us wherever we go. Kokilaben Pratasya Shava Haste Sadhaka, and near the right hand. Sadhaka Haste Yeshadapinda Mayadhite Tava Pratishtita. So we are going to be doing a fire ritual, but without fire. And of course, in the last, we'll put a fire and when they go inside. Okay. So there's swahas. Every time I say swaha, it's indication that you're going to offer something into the fire. So we have this powder, we have this stick, and we have no, first we have to take the stick. Put three times sticks near the heart area. Layer them. Yeah. Just put one up side by side like this. Like that. Okay. चत्वारि शृंगत्रिय अस्य पादद्वयशीर्ष सप्तहस्तासु अस्य त्रिदाबद्ध yeah वृषभोरविद महोदेव मच्चकम आविवेश स्वाहा. Yeah, now put more. Yeah, now come back. There's a ghee there. Use the same stick. You can use the same stick to offer the ghee. Om Agnaye Swaha, Agnaye Swaha. Maybe you can use the sticks every time you say Swaha. Use one stick and drop the stick there along with that if you want. Agnaye is a little hard, so you can use the sticks. Agnaye Swaha, Agnaye Swaha, Agnaye Swaha, Uttaradha Purvadhe, Agni Somaya Swaha, Somaya Swaha, Somaya Swaha, Dakshinardha Purvadhe, Agnaye Idam na Madhye, Agnaye Swaha, Agnaye Idam na Mama. Now keep on doing the. Now this powder is there. Samagri you offer this powder, wooden powder. It's a collection of many herbs. Yeah, offer them all of them. Okay. Om Lomabhya Swaha. Om Tvache Swaha. Lohitaya Swaha. Medobhya Swaha. Mamsebhya Swaha. Stanubhya Swaha. Astibhya Swaha. Majjabhya Swaha. Retase Swaha. Payave Swaha. आयसाय स्वाहा प्रायसाय स्वाहा समयाय स्वाहा वेसाय स्वाहा उद्याय स्वाहा शुचे स्वाहा शोचते स्वाहा शोचमानाय स्वाहा शोकाय स्वाहा तपसे स्वाहा तप्यते स्वाहा तप्यमानाय स्वाहा तप्ताय स्वाहा धर्माय स्वाहा निष्कृत्ये स्वाहा प्रायश्चित्यै स्वाहा भेषजाय स्वाहा यमाय स्वाहा अंतकाय स्वाहा मृच्छवे स्वाहा ब्रह्मणे स्वाहा ब्रह्म हत्यायै स्वाहा विश्वेभ्यो देवेभ्यः स्वाहा ध्यावा पृथिवीभ्यां स्वाहा प्रेतवाहाय स्वाहा प्रेतसंख्याय स्वाहा प्रेतपाय स्वाहा प्रेत भूमिपाय स्वाहा प्रेतहंत्र्यै स्वाहा. Okay, sir. Now all of the swahas are over. Om Sarvam Vai Purnagvam Swaha. Om Chittim Cha Swaha Chittaya Chittischa Swaha Chitya Akutim Cha Swaha Akutaya Idam Vignatam Cha Swaha Vignataya Idam Manasya Swaha Manasa Idam Sekvaryasya Swaha Sekvarya Idam Nam Darsasya Swaha Darsaya Radhantarancha Swaha Radhantaraya Idam Namama Om Bhu Swaha Agni Om Bhuva Swaha Vasuva Swaha Su Om Bhur Bhuva Suva Swaha Prajapataya Idam Namama. Om Sarvam Vai Purnagvam Swaha. When do a little prayer, you can try to say with this me or I'll say for you. It's a little difficult mantra. It's not difficult, but put namaskar to the gods and ask blessings. Om Anadhi Nidhano Devah Shankha Gadadharah Akshaya Pundarikaksha Preta Moksha Pradobhava Krishna Krishna Krupalo Twamagatinam Gadirbhava Samsarar Navamagnanam Prasidha Purushottama. You can all recite with me. Om Tat Sat Pretatma Shantihi. Om Tat Sat Pretatma Shantihi. Om Tat Sat, Pretatma, Shanti. Okay. That completes all the prayers. We just need to spread this shawl.
Both the daughters will put that Tulsi and that will be. Yeah. So I think they will be better. And Gangaji. Then Pradakshina. And the last Pradakshina will be done by him.
Yeah.
एक हाथ जोड़ी हाथ पाए प्रेम की सब मांगिए शरणु मरे साचु कमाए मांगिए जीव आज्ञा आप दासी चरण अपनावजो परमात्माए आत्मा में शांति साची आप जो परमात्माए आत्मा में शांति साची आप जो बड़े कर्म नायो करी फूल मारे अवतरे या पूर्ण प्रेमी ओ प्रभु जी आपनी भक्ति करे यत चौरासी न बंधनों में लक्ष्य माले आप जो परमात्माए आत्मा में शांति साची आप जो परमात्माए आत्मा में शांति साची आप जो सुसंपत्ति सुविचार सत्कर्मणो वारणो जन्मो जन्म सत्संगति कीर्तार पार तार जो आलोक में परलोक में कव प्रेम रग रग व्याप जो परमात्माए आत्मा में शांति साची आप जो परमात्माए आत्मा में शांति साची आप जो मणि मोक्ष के सुख स्वर्ग ना आशा पूरे देवी नती यो देह दुर्लभ मानवीय भजन करवा भावती साचू बतावी रूप श्री महावीर दे साप दो परमात्माए आत्मा में शांति साची आप जो परमात्माए आत्मा में शांति साची आप जो परमात्माए आत्मा में शांति साची आप जो કારણ કે વચ્ચે ભગવાનનું જો આવતું હોય ને તો પછી જવાનું વચ્ચેથી બદલીને પછી પાછળ વચ્ચે બાંધવાનું છે. There is no turn. અત્યારે મારે હેડથી લીધી સમી ઓકે હેડ ફર્સ્ટ you want to take it head first and then you can turn it back to left. Once you go and before next time going there, we will go fast. You can close it. So Yeah, you're now. Jerry, you are here. Everybody left from right next to that. You go ahead. Everybody like to be at. Shri Krishna Sharanam